Another computer art tutorial going into another lesson here in Pixlr. We're moving on into text effects, and what we're doing today is filling a word or couple of words. Don't want to go too wordy because we want the letters to be few and bold. So one word, maybe two words, and gonna fill it with an image and add a little bit of a glow effect on the outside. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go home here and go to create new. We will call this image filled text, the full HD size, create. I'm going to zoom out just a step here, and then first thing I want to do is fill my color with black. So I'm going to drag this color picker here all the way to the corner for black, and then use my paint bucket here to click and fill this black. Next, I'm going to hit new layer and add a text layer. And so my word that I did was UCONN for UConn, University of Connecticut. Here, missing on the March Madness this year. Tough to deal. But what we want to use is a very bold font. I would find one that's solid. Let's see. Oh, my text. I want to make sure my text is actually white. So click on your color picker here and bring that all the way up to the corner. Oops. Trying to select my type. Oh, I guess color has to be changed right here. I forgot. So color for type is going to be white. That way I can see it. That was a little challenging to work on that while I couldn't see it. And I can make the size bigger up here. So if I want this to be bigger, I can kind of scroll up. And what you don't want really is text or fonts with this texture sort of stuff going on in it. Won't work as well for the effect that we're trying to find. I think this was the one that I might have gone with. Daddy Day. Fun name for a font. Make this font size big enough where it kind of fits your page well. You could always just transform your text or free transform your text as well to kind of expand it to get it to fill the page up here. That's looking pretty good. Now what I'm going to want to do is go ahead and merge these two layers together. So what I can do is hit these three dots here, and I could go down to merge down, and that will merge those two layers together, which is really what I want to have happen now. You can't edit this text now once you've done that. So just know that. You can't edit or change the wording of the text or the font or anything. So once you get to this point, you're going ahead with what we're going to do. So yeah, so next step is to find the image you want to fill the text with. So I'm going to go ahead and type in UConn basketball, like I was saying. So missing out on March Madness basketball right now, especially since we're really just home all day long. Would be a great time to be watching basketball. But this was the image I had used before. Copy that image and go back to your project. We'll want to hit Command V to paste it in. Make sure your image is large enough to cover all your text. And then the other thing you're going to want to do is probably lower the transparency for a second. Let's lower this transparency enough so that you can see your words through, maybe about 50% just for now. And we want to figure out what part of your image is going to be showing through letters. So I was trying to get these guys' faces kind of in the letters is what I had going in my example. And so this is looking pretty close to, I think, what I had going on here. So I wanted to get a couple of their faces and maybe a bit of a UConn jersey or something like that in there too. Maybe I made it just a little bit bigger. Okay, so you can spend some time trying to play with and adjust that. I'm gonna just go ahead and get it to a place that's decent and then move on. So now what we want to do is go to select your text layer. We can make this image actually invisible for a second. Let's turn off the visibility with this little down arrow. And then I'm going to take my magic wand and select out in the black area here. So I've got all that selected. Now I'm going to turn this back on. And what I'm going to do is erase. I'm just going to take my eraser tool and I'm going to make that size pretty large. and I'm going to erase everything from this image layer that is selected right now, but not inside the layers, because that's all it will let me erase is what's inside of my selection area, and what's in the letters is not included there. So it'll let me go over and erase all this stuff. And I do notice that I did miss the inner part of the O, and so I will go ahead and clean that up in a sec. So I'll go to my text layer again, take my magic wand and click on the center part here, and then go back to my image layer and want to do a, oh, could I just hit delete? Yeah, I could just delete. Yep, just hit delete on that. So Command D to deselect, and then I want to turn the opacity back up on this image, so I'm gonna bump that back up to 100 so I can kind of see what I got here, and that looks pretty good. And so last thing is to add a bit of a glow effect here, and so I'm going to go to filter at this menu here and go down to glow. And what I noticed, and I did this last time too, that I had some stray areas. I think it's from areas that the image didn't get erased. But I'll clean those up after. So I'm going to start by bumping up the size here, and then maybe bump up the blur so that it kind of fuzzes it out some more. And then I will, once you find a good level for your blurs, I mean, you can make them as big, or you know, opacity kind of fades it down a little bit more. Yeah, as big as blurry as you feel fit. I'm going to go ahead and take my eraser tool and come back in and just erase all these kind of stray dots that kind of happened off the sides here. And then that looks pretty good. So, as always, make sure you save your work. File save there, image fill text for the name, file name JPEG, or file type JPEG, quality high, hit that download button, and make sure that this file gets into your Google Drive and ultimately onto Google Classroom. So there you have it, another lesson down, distance learning, image filled text. All right, hope you guys have luck, have fun, and be creative with your own work.